This month is going to be so much fun and a little chaotic. So many books on the TBR. Hi there, welcome to my channel. My name is Crystal and this is Books Forever After, where I sit on the floor and we talk about everything and all things books. Alright, so this month is such an exciting month. In this video, it's actually part of a collab video that we're doing in honor of the Romance Readathon, which runs from August 1st all the way through August 31st. So this is really exciting. It was announced, I think, 3 weeks ago. Maggie from Maggie's Books and stuff, she coordinated this whole thing and she came up with this awesome, brilliant, creative idea of the Romance Readathon, and this is going to be the first annual installment. And this year's theme is going to be the Bridgerton theme, which is really exciting. And this one, I will post a little picture up here, but the idea is that any book you read, so it's obviously romance, so you get extra points if there's romance books, extra bonus points if it's a historical romance, and also extra points if it's a LGBTQ author or BIPOC author as well. So it's also geared to, the points that you get are about the pages. It goes all the way maxed out to 500 points for a 500-page book, and you can read anything besides romance as well. So if you're not really a romance reader, or you don't really into historical romance either, that'll still count. So but yeah, so really excited, and I want to go over all the books that I want to read for this TBR. I mean, it's a lot. So if you want all the deets for this readathon, I will tag Maggie's video there. She has the announcement. She breaks everything down. I will also tag all of the co-captains for all the teams that will be for this readathon. There's gonna be 5 teams. There's the Seductress team, so I'll be a part of that team. Joining that team, that is Crystal from Crystal's Bookish Life, and Tiffany from TikTok's Pages is the co-captains for there, as well as other people. I will tag them down below. They're co-captains of the other teams. The other teams are the Protector, the Bluestocking, the Wallflower, and the Hoyden. And I joined the Seductress team. I can't speak. The Seductress team. And I'm really excited because I wanted to join that characters when it always spoke out to me on when Maggie kind of entered everything, announced everything on there in the descriptions, and I really wanted to kind of gear my reading towards that character. So it's like a widow character, and, you know, scandalous secret meetings in the gardens and those kind of vibes. So I kind of been wanting to read more of those, as I stated before in my past videos, so I felt that was perfect. Although I feel kind of like I know I kind of vibe with April and Mama Needs to Read Romance and Autumn from Nose in a Book, but I'm really excited to I guess I'm not really competitive, so I guess I am kind of competitive, but really not. But I just kind of don't want to pick a team at the same time because I just love all the girls there. So, but this is going to be some fun. So, alright, so the very first one on the docket is a new release. And I actually checked this out at the library physically, and I'm kind of surprised, like, the first one to check this one out. So, I did have to wait a few weeks for them to get it. But this is really exciting. So I'm putting myself on Book Buying Ban. I know it's out in Walmart for like 20 bucks or whatever, but I'm like, Crystal, you just need to read it first, see if you like it. You don't need to buy it. Anyway, so this is a romance, so this is still kind of be included. As I said, any book you read will be in there. But this is Starbringer by Tracy Wolff, and looks like Nina Croft. I don't know if it's an author duo, kind of similar to what, oh gosh, what's his name? Where she has like the plot and they kind of plot it out. I don't know if they actually co-authored together or like what this thing is here. So it's interesting for that. So I did read Crave this past month, and that's like a paranormal YA romance. This one is a new adult. It's the second book released, I think, as part of this new I want to say imprint, Red Tower Books of Entangled, the publisher there. And this is a sci-fi romance. There is an MF and a sapphic romance in here as well, FF romance. I heard about that as someone mentioned that in the Discord. I think they actually DNF'd this, so already puts me on a little apprehensive, but we'll see. But really what intrigued me is I haven't heard very many sci-fi romance unless it's like an alien, you know, blue man kind of a thing. So this sounds really interesting. It's kind of like the Breakfast Club meets, I forget what else, like it's basically it's been attributed to like Breakfast Club meets sci-fi kind of a thing. So so there's literally like a princess, a prisoner, a con artist, warrior, priestess, a mercenary, and an a-hole in charge of them all. So sound like it's gonna be a wild ride. As long as there's really good banter and fun, I'm all for it. I'm not gonna expect a very high fantasy from this, and you know, serious, which isn't really what I'm looking for in this. So this is gonna sounds fun. So I actually will be starting this one first for the readathon. Next is also something that has been on hold that I just came off of hold on my Libby app, so I've been waiting for about a month or so for this one. It's going to be, which is cool, it's going to give me double points here. So it's a romance and it's also historical, so this kind of thing, but it's not historical romance, it's a historical fantasy romance. It's called Daughter of the Drowned Empire, book 1 of the Drowned Empire series, and I heard about this one actually through a Facebook group, and I'd never heard of this author. It looks like this is like her very first series. I don't see anything else by her there. And as I mentioned, it's a historical fantasy romance, and I guess the 3rd book released this past February, and I think there might be 4 books being released, I'm not sure, but this is a debut series by Frankie Diane Malice, and it's been described as Cleopatra meets Throne of Glass, and I'm like, I heard that, I'm like, I definitely want to read that. So I'm really excited to read that as well. Since that'll be on my Kindle, I'll be able to kind of push that into some sort of, or probably earlier in the month, can kind of match with all these other books here as well. Because a lot of these books that I have are all, for this readathon, are all physical books that I own. So I'm trying to read more of my physical TBR. So that is why this readathon is so great, because it gives me a chance to read all the historical romances that I own, so which are all here and here that I haven't read yet. All right, so next one is oh gosh, let me find it. Oh yes, I don't have it. Is Captive of My Desires. I do not own this one. I mistakenly, when I went to Half Price Books, as I mentioned in my most recent book haul, is I went to Half Price Books and I accidentally grabbed 2 of, what was this book? I accidentally bought 2 of No Choice But Seduction. Apparently I must have thought this was Captive of My Desires when I grabbed it, but unfortunately I already own that one. So that one I will save to see if a friend wants it or something. So that, you know, that's kind of what happens. I think this is, I might have to adopt B's method of an Excel sheet, so that way I have that list on my phone as a Excel sheet on my OneDrive, so when I go thrift book shopping for historical romances at the library book sale, so I might have to start doing that now. But anywho, this one is number 8 of the Mallory Anderson series. This is part of the read-along that I co-host with April from Happily Ever April. I will tag the link, her and the live for next month coming up. It'll be it's always the last Sunday of the month at 9 p.m. Eastern time and 6 p.m. Pacific time. So yeah, and that one will actually be live on my channel for this month, because we do alternate every month as well. And this one is going to be following Gabrielle Brooks, Andrew Anderson, which is he's the brother of Georgina Anderson from the Gentle Rogue, so like the very most famous book of the series, with the James Mallory. So James Mallory and Georgina. So really excited, really enjoying those books. And next I have on here, which is probably, it's not really primary one that I want to read, but it is In the Shelter of Holly Thorne House by Sarah E. Loud. This is more of a proper or closed door romance, kind of similar vibes of written in style of like Jane Austen, the Bronte sisters kind of a thing. I recently read the first one in the series. This is a standalone. You don't need to read the first one to read this one, which I probably should have just read this one, but I did check out the physical copy of the other one. I wasn't as much as a fan. I actually gave that 2 stars, and I'll have that in a wrap up here soon as well, later this month, later in August, actually, in month. Forget what day it is. But this one's actually also a widow, so it kind of goes through the whole Seductress vibe because it's a widow character. It has a persuasion vibes because it's a second chance romance, and that is what really drew me into it. And this was one I actually run from a giveaway on Goodreads, my very first one, which I'm still shocked to this day. So really looking forward to it. I am hoping that I will like this one more than I did the first one that I read by this author. And then I want to read another widow romance, is The Countess by Lindsay Sands. It seems very sultry and intriguing in that aspect. And the reason why, because this one I do remember when I read the blurb, is that her husband that she's married to drops dead, but finds out, you know, she kind of puts him on ice and pretends that nothing has happened, but then the real Earl appears. So apparently it's like, I don't know if it's like twin brothers or something, or just like, so it comes across with that kind of stranger kind of vibes. So sounds interesting, and I definitely am going to be prioritizing this one for the readathon. Alright, next is I want to read Lorraine Heath. I think the only one I've read from her was for a book club one hosted by the Historical Hellions, and that was like the Texas Glory one, or like the first one in that one, and it was a Western, and I wasn't as, that was kind of a miss for me because I don't like Westerns in particular, and if I do read them, I have one that I will mention that you guys have probably heard me talk about that has always been like my comfort read. So I was kind of disappointed in that. However, I want to read these 2 books in the series, which is called The Hellions of Havisham. So book 1 is Falling into Bed with the Duke. So lovely setback. I want to read that one. Sultry. I think it's like seduction lessons or something like that. I don't know. It sounds interesting. Then I've heard so much about this one as well. This is book 2 in that series. I think these are all standalones. I don't think you have to read one before the other. But this is the Earl Takes All. This is a widow. This is also this is similar to the other one, but this was actually her husband dies, and he kind of has his twin brother out in like, I think some tour thing. His twin brother, and they switch places. He asked his brother to switch places as he's dying because she's pregnant and she's had lost a child before, and so he doesn't want her to become so upset again that she loses a child this time. So yeah, so that I heard this is so angsty and just so heartbreaking and tension filled. I don't know. I'm really excited to read that. So that's a step back for this one. So gorgeous. So really excited. I'm lucky that I got those both with step back. So they're really cool. So yeah, that's kind of like When He Was Wicked by Julia Quinn, part of the Bridgerton series, was like my favorite. So I like that. So that's really interesting. So yeah. Next here I have The Proposal by Mary Balogh, which I don't have a copy of, so this one might be one of my Kindle that I check out from the Libby app, my local library. I never read Mary Balogh, but I've been trying to. I know that she is Crystal from Crystal Bookish Life's one of her favorite authors, and I really want to, and I kind of trust her perspective on books. And I really want to read this one. This is the Widow one. That's all I really know about it. And it's actually part of, I think it's book 1 in a whole like widow series. I forget what the name of the series is, but it all focuses on women who are widows. But yeah, so let me know if you read that one. I haven't read that one yet. Next is I recently picked this up, I know, during my book buying ban. Let's just not talk about it, guys. I actually went to library, the standing library sale and library store in the library, and I got 5 books for $1 each, and I found they were some really good finds. So this one is Teresa Madero's Yours Until Dawn. All I've heard is it's like a Beauty and the Beast retelling, so I'm excited about that. So I mean, didn't we all? That's like what first drew us in, was Disney and Beauty and the Beast. I feel like that has always been our origin stories, at least for me anyway. And then I was going to read the Gamblers or Cravens ones, but I realized I didn't own those physically, and I really want to read my physical books. I have one of those and not necessarily both, but I'm rattling on here anyway. But the next one I want to read is Settling You by Lisa Kleypas. Don't know much. I think it's a Bluestocking because I think she's an author. That's all I know. I think, yeah, she's a novelist. That's it. So, which I do like that trope as well. But that's it for that one. No, nothing else. We're just going rapid fire here now. And then the next one is Stranger in My Arms, which I think is just also another standalone. This one looks to be a Widow Second Chance vibes, maybe? No. Yes. Widow Second Chance, that kind of thing. So another mistaken identity, husband is not dead kind of a thing. But someone shows up claiming to be her husband. So, I mean, I'm all about the suspense a little bit, but not. And then next, I definitely want to prioritize. I really want to read this author, and I hear such good things. I know a lot of people are reading this one as well for this readathon. This is The Highwayman by Kerrigan Byrne, and I know it's a darker noir historical romance, which is all my vibes. I love that. And then I actually have book 2, The Hunter. So I'm definitely going to prioritize this one, and I'm hoping to get to this one. And then that is all for the books that I'm prioritizing. Obviously, even with those alone, it's going to be hit or miss if I actually read all of those. But I have estimated about 14, 16 on this list, though. It's a wishful thinking. However, I do have a couple more maybes before I talk about the buddy reads, which is in this next section. So this other one is kind of like a, as I said, scandalous kind of a thing. This is like a masked ball stranger thing here by Sabrina Jeffries by Love Unveiled. It looks like she used to read this one as, it was Deborah Martin, but it was Sabrina Jeffries writing. So, there. Her pen name was Deborah Martin, I'm guessing. There you go. And then also another kind of masked ball masquerade is Brenda Joyce the Masquerade. I haven't read this author either. She's new to me, so those are also hopefuls there as well. And then lastly, I have 3 books that are part of buddy reads that are in the Discord for the readathon. And the first one I actually wanted to read, I actually will be getting to read because it's on KU, and that's how I'm going to read it, is How to Marry a Marquis by C.M. DaCosta, and it's a historical monster romance, and it's a standalone in these Monster Ball series, and it's like 11 books in that series. I know a few people are going to try to read, I think, the whole series, or at least some of the other books in the series that they haven't read yet. So yeah, I'm looking forward to it. I've read monster romances, but I never read a historical monster romance, so that sounds fun. Next is Shanna by Kathleen E. Woodiwiss. I do want to read Kathleen E. Woodiwiss. I know she only wrote like 13 novels or something like that, so I really want to get to her backlist. I never read, she'll be new to me author as well. But this is Shanna that is also on the buddy reads list there. So this is a maybe. All of these are really maybes, really, to be honest. It's going to be kind of going towards my mood here. But this one is, the next one is The Perks of Loving a Wallflower. This is the sapphic romance for Erica Ridley. This would also fit with all of the bonus points, so I definitely probably will try to get to this one more to get more points for my team. But yeah, so, and I never read a sapphic historical romance. I think the only LGBTQ like romance I've read has been like in the Salacious Players Club, or any like, I want to say like all more contemporary. I want to say I haven't really read like historical, but yeah, looking forward to that. well, this was a BIPOC author as well for that. So, and then lastly is Indigo by Beverly Jenkins. I know this is like her most popular or loved one as well. I never read her either, so she's new to me as well. And this would get all the bonus points as well. So I might just prioritize Indigo and the Perks of Loving a Wallflower to get more points for our team. But that is it. So it's a lot and a little bit chaotic. Typically I'm trying to be as I am kind of set in my TBR, but yet at the same time I want to have options just in case the mood strikes. So yeah, so that's the theme of this month. So I'm really looking forward to this month, and I hope you will join. And as I said, please go ahead and go please go down and click the link for Maggie's video, for announcement video, as well as the other co-hosts. They have put their announcements in there as well, as long as there's a playlist that Maggie is doing, gathering all of the playlists for this collab TBR. So we're looking forward to this whole month. It's gonna be so much fun. Alright, with that said, thank you for watching. Please don't forget to click like and subscribe, and I will see you in my next video. Bye.